I've been vaping, but it's safer than smoking.
You know, one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes. 20 cigarettes.
Huh.
Bud, salad, ganja, happy cigarette, grass, blunt, reefer, doobie, pinner, sticky icky, wacky tobacco, spliff, Mary Jane, spice. It goes by many names, and today we're gonna give you the straight up, no BS facts on cannabis. Hey guys, so you think you know what this cannabis thing is all about, huh? Or do you? Cannabis is a drug that can be produced from plants. The cannabis plant contains many chemicals, including two main active ingredients. We got THC, which is the thing that gives you that high, and CBD, which is being studied for its medical benefits. And then there's synthetic cannabinoids, which are developed in a lab and are supposed to be much stronger and actually pretty dangerous. The more you know. All right, so let's play a game that I like to call Cannabis, Not Cannabis. Dried weed leaves. Yeah, that's cannabis. Tea leaves? Not cannabis. Hash? Cannabis. Hash browns? You know that's not cannabis. Cannabis wax? Yeah, that's cannabis. Hair removal wax? Not cannabis. Gummies? Not cannabis. Gummies? Cannabis? Oh man, I can't even. Point is, cannabis comes in many forms. Oh look, it's 420. Time to drop a truth bomb. So when it comes to the teenage brain, there is no safe amount of cannabis. And why? Because the teenage brain is a work in progress. It's not fully developed until you're like 25. Cannabis messes with that development.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
Okay, this is BS. I can't breathe in this thing. All right, well, given that you're gonna need your brain for a long time, you gotta protect your noggin, right? But here's the thing. Cannabis affects everyone differently, and it can have different effects every time you use it. And today's cannabis is much stronger compared to the stuff your parents might have smoked back in the day. Ugh, who thought those clothes were a good idea? You gotta be careful. You gotta know what you're getting into, and you even gotta know your own limits, all right? All right. Hands up if you've heard that cannabis is mostly a relaxing experience. Well, that's actually not BS. Getting high can have calming effects. Sometimes people just want to chillax, you know? But there are two sides to every leaf. You see what I did there? All right. Cannabis affects motor skills and judgment and problem-solving ability too. And all that can lead to some pretty epic fails. Cannabis can be addictive and can cause some pretty nasty side effects like depression, anxiety, even psychosis. Remember this too. The younger you start and the more you use, the more likely the chances of addiction. This stuff is too real. You hungry? By the way, cannabis has been known to cause the munchies. Here's another effect to chew on. You can overdose on edibles. They can be pretty potent, and that can lead to vomiting, like all over yourself, You could also black out. I did that for effect. With cannabis, it's called greening out, and it sucks bad. You know, you throw back a couple gummies, and next thing you know, zombie. And if it happens to someone you're with, you gotta call 911 right away. Here's the number in case you forget. You know, some geniuses even think you can drive high. That's some next level BS. You can't, you're impaired. It's totally illegal. And you know what they say? Drive high gets you a DUI. Feeling more informed now? Good. Remember, there's a lot of BS out there, so make sure you do your research. Alrighty then. So I'm gonna leave it there, mainly because teenmentalhealth.org is only paying me for a 2-minute video, and I got other stuff to do today. Plus, they're the real experts. Stay woke, check them out, talk smart, mic drop.
We're headed to a loud noise complaint. During spring break, we have our open house parties through the roof. We got juveniles running around everywhere drinking. With that comes the fights, the sexual assaults. We'll get there and hopefully just deal with the ones responsible. Right up in front. What up?
How's it going?
How are you, sir?
Going.
Did you not see what's going on?
Yeah, we've been walking out and everybody's just seeming
You don't smell the weed or see all the underage drinking?
No, sir. I didn't see anybody drinking.
Are you a responsible party here too?
I'm renting. That's fine. We have 4 moms here and 4 daughters.
Have a seat right there. 4 moms here and 4 daughters. With all these underage kids drinking out there, it's a strong odor of marijuana, and you have no idea what's going on?
It is 9:30 at night. We just got here today. We just finished going to the grocery. No, sir.
So all these kids coming in and out of your backyard that you just have no idea?
We've popped in and out. We're watching ball games. No, sir. No, sir.
So you didn't hear the music?
We
You can hear the music
definitely
way out
know that there are children in our backyard swimming and sitting in the hot tub and hanging out, and they just came and they're greeting each other. They're just friends. But
And you've been back and forth and haven't noticed any alcohol or marijuana?
no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
And if you stand in the kitchen,
Yeah, you can.
you don't hear.
Yeah, you can stand in our kitchen and the music is like at a normal
Neighbors
level.
are calling,
Well, I apologize.
and they're hearing it. So, if you guys are saying you stand it, y'all just have the best soundproofing ever?
Well, sir, no, we can hear that.
Can you
there's
grab your
light
ID
on.
for me?
Absolutely.
What's up, man? You just happen to be the first one I walked up to with alcohol in his hand.
So,
You know what I mean? Put him in your car. The one in cuffs?
Yeah.
Yep. You put your hands behind your back for me.
Oh, hang on a second. Can I
Turn around,
just
put
say,
your hands behind your back.
can I ask,
Turn around,
What
put your
is
hands
the
behind your back.
charge,
Open
please?
house party. Turn around, put your hands behind your
I
back.
was in my house watching
That's
the
3
ball
times.
game. Oh my God.
There's underage kids drinking out back, to include juveniles. There's a
I
loud
didn't know
noise
about any of
complaint.
that. People came in my back.
The party's solved, the noise complaint's solved, and the responsible party is going to be charged with the crime.
This is really injustice. This is ridiculous. I can't imagine how this is happening to me.
The parents should have been in control of what was going on, never should have been letting underage kids drink and come and go from a residence. So in terms of a lesser of 2 evils, I think they're the ones that should have to answer for what was going on.
Honestly, yeah, guys, I've been vaping, but it's safer than smoking.
Not really, because if you vape, you're 4 times more likely to start smoking cigarettes anyway.
4 times is nothing, bro.
Sure it is. Imagine having 4 times as many cats.
Or 4 times worse vision. Or 4 times more of Kyle.
Whoa, that's a lot.
If you vape, you're 4 times more likely to start smoking cigarettes.
This is Josh Schiff.
Is the internet really dangerous? I mean, aren't your parents and teachers just overreacting to the dangers that lurk on the interwebs? Did you know the internet is a series of tubes?
The internet is not something that you just dump something on. It's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes.
Truthfully, these adult folks in your life have a point. Online threats are real, and that's why today I'm going to show you how to be safe online. Think of me as your online bodyguard with really puny biceps. Don't judge me. All right, look, there are three main threats for teens online. So let's deal with the biggest threat first, shall we? The biggest threat to you online, do you know what it is? It's you. You are your biggest threat. Actually, let me be more clear about that. The biggest online threat to you is you posting or uploading something stupid, right? The internet is like a spider web. I mean, what do you think they call it? The World Wide Web. It catches everything, and once it's online, it can be there for years. So that picture of you kissing your dog, there forever. That Facebook update about how much you enjoy the music of Miley Cyrus, sir, there forever. Butterflies fly away, nodding my head like yeah, moving my head. So look, being smart about what you say and do online is frankly more than just a good idea. Teenage Burger King employee from Cleveland took a picture of him with his feet in the bin of lettuce they use for burgers. First of all, that's freaking disgusting. He posted it online, you know, thinking anonymously, right? Safe. Nope, wrong. Burger King found out about it, traced the photo back to this dude's phone. Not only was he fired, but BK Corporate fired the entire crew he worked with. Every single one of them. I bet that guy's pretty popular now. Now, I know you're sitting there thinking, Josh, I mean, I don't even work at Burger King. And secondly, I would never, ever put my feet in a bin of lettuce. That is disgusting and bad for the environment. All right, fair enough. But think about this for a second. How much drama is started when people like say and post idiotic stuff online that they would never, ever in a million years say to your face? You know? And how many times have you seen your friends say or post something online that they now regret? Exactly. So to help you protect yourself against yourself, here's a general rule of thumb that might help you. Before you post or upload something, ask yourself this. Would I be cool with my grandma seeing this? You know, would you be cool with your grandma seeing you threaten to beat up that kid you don't like? Would you be cool with your grandma seeing you request the answers for Mrs. Fox's Spanish file? Would you be cool with your grandma seeing you upload that picture of you in front of the bathroom mirror only wearing a sports bra? Honey, put some dang clothes on, good Lord! That's my grandma impersonation. Sorry. So here's a rule. If it passes the grandma filter of approval, then you're good to go. If it doesn't, you probably want to reconsider it. The second thing you need to protect yourself against online are online predators. I mean, the word predator even like sounds, you know, it's just. So if you're chatting online with someone, you need to make sure that you for sure, like 100%, know who they are. And never ever give out personal information. If you're gonna buy something online, make sure it's a legit site, right? Here's a little saying I've made up for you to help you remember this. Let me see if I can remember it. If it looks scammy, protect your family. That's, if it looks legit, it's probably full of, I can't say that. If you give out the wrong informaciones, it's like a kick to the cojones. That's racist. All right, here it is, for real. Avoid the temptation to give information. You better tweet that right now because there are weirdos and stalkers and crazy people out there that you need to protect yourself from and your friends from. Please do not share your personal information with anyone unless you know for sure they are safe or a legitimate business or organization. Don't take candy from strangers, avoid windowless vans, and remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Now, the last threat is not very popular to talk about, but the fact is that it's true, so I'm going to talk to you about it. Did you know, this is crazy, that 12% of internet websites are pornographic in nature? 12%, I mean, that is messed up. And you need to protect yourself from this stuff. It causes serious psychological and relational harm. The Kaiser Family Foundation did a survey of 1,200 teens, and 70% of them said that they had accidentally stumbled onto porn online. And in a recent survey of college freshmen, 82% they had been exposed to porn by the time they were just 14 years old. So the point is, an unlocked computer is like a loaded gun sitting in your bedroom. You need to protect yourself or eventually you will get shot. It's inevitable. Get some filtering software on your computer to protect yourself. I use something called Safe Eyes. There's also something out there called Content Barrier and other programs out there that work for both Mac and PC. Now I know what you're thinking, this filtering software costs money. Look, it costs like $50 a year, and here's how you make this happen. Go to your parents and tell them, "Dearest mother and father, the World Wide Web is filled with vile stuff like pornography. This filtering software protects me, a young child, innocent in nature, from all of this horrible stuff. Could you buy it for me so I may live a virtuous life and be an upstanding citizen of the interwebs?" If your parents say no to that, your parents are crazy, all right? So there you have it. 3 straightforward boundaries that you can enact in your life to save yourself a lot of heartache and awkward questions in a future job interview. Now, I have a question for you. I'm thinking about making a series of videos for living an awesome life. What is the #1 thing that you would like to learn about? Leave your answer in the comments below. Por favor. That means please in Spanish. I'm bilingual. Did you know the internet is a series of tubes?
Vaping is like safer than... Vaping is safer than...
Ever since I was little, I would watch shows like Cops and watch all the different types of people get picked up by the police and taken to jail. I had always been so set that I would never want to end up like that I even set my goals and career paths on law enforcement and becoming someone to help and not be in jail. March 3rd, I decided that I would drink because of how terrible that my day was and how I wanted to hang out with my friend before he left for college and I was alone once again. We went to a movie and then went to a store, and next thing you knew, we were at a park. We sat there for a couple minutes, played soccer for a little while, and down went an entire bottle of vodka and an entire bottle of wine. It started to rain, so we both ended up running into the backseat of my car and sitting there talking for a couple hours. We were so drunk, we totally forgot that it was midnight and we both had to be home soon. We both ended up passing out, and next thing I knew, when I woke up, there were so many cop cars surrounding us. An officer walked up to me and asked me my name, and I gave him my license, and I thought everything would be okay. I don't really remember much after that. I do know that I ended up in the backseat of a cop car. We drove about 20 minutes out to a station. They filed paperwork. They gave me 3 phone calls. I used the first one to call my mom, and she didn't answer. I used the second to call my grandparents, and they answered, which ended up in them calling my mom and her yelling at me. I sat there waiting, and finally they took me to the back where they took my blood and made me pee in a cup. I have scars on my legs and my arms from self-harm, so I was put into the special side of the jail where you have to wear a green padded dress and it's Velcro, so you can't hurt yourself. I was only in there for a day and a half, but felt like I was in there for 4 years. Finally, I was allowed to leave. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to feel. My mom came and picked me up, $271 for my bail. They had taken my car, and I had to go pick up my car, $180. I went to counseling right after that and went to the doctors and had to get on antidepressants because the thought of sleeping and being there again made me scared. About 5 months have gone by, and the thought of being in jail still haunts me. I don't ever want to be back there again. I'm afraid to drive. I've pushed so many people away because I'm afraid that something bad will end up happening and I'll be back in that situation. Now I know what to avoid and what will happen.
Oh my god, and we totally jumped off the cliff and had to swim all the way to shore because the dog chased us all the way to the end. Oh.
Most people don't smoke. And that's a good thing. Here are 7 reasons why it's good to be smoke-free. Smoking hurts your appearance, damages your skin, and yellows your teeth. Smoking hurts your lungs, so you're more likely to get sick. Smoking makes people short of breath, so they have a tougher time moving around and playing sports. Smoking causes lung cancer, heart disease, and other serious illnesses. And smoking sends chemicals into the air which can make other people sick. Cigarettes, including e-cigarettes, contain nicotine, which is really addictive. You've heard people talk about how much cigarettes cost. There are probably other things you'd like to spend your money on. If you smoke, it's never too late to quit. Here's where to find help. You can visit smokefree.gov or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW to be connected to your state's medical quit line. And the National Cancer Institute has counselors who can help you in English and Spanish. Get the support you need to quit and start enjoying your smoke-free life.
Is that a hand? Am I a puppet? Is any of this real? If I'm not real, how am I thinking this? Hey, he's kinda cute. But wait, is he real? I wanna kiss him.
Gross. A quarter of Canadians aged 15 to 24 use cannabis each year. Most people believe cannabis is safe, but few realize that there are specific risks for people under age 25. Here are 5 reasons young people should try to delay cannabis use as long as possible. First, our brains are not fully developed until around age 25. Early and regular cannabis use can hurt the brain's prefrontal cortex, which can impair memory, decision-making, and problem-solving. We don't know if these effects are permanent and can't predict who will be affected. Second, cannabis use can lower motivation in young people and is tied to lower grades and school attendance. Cannabis use before age 16 is associated with the use of other drugs in later life. Third, regular cannabis use may be linked to depression and anxiety and is associated with psychosis, especially among those who have a parent or sibling who has experienced mental illness such as schizophrenia. Fourth, 1 in 6 individuals who use cannabis during their teen years will experience problematic use, physical dependence, and/or symptoms of withdrawal. In young people, problems with cannabis can develop more quickly than with tobacco or alcohol. Last, in Canada, teens between 15 and 19 are the most likely to drive after using cannabis. Cannabis increases the risk of car accidents by impairing the driver's reaction time, coordination, and concentration. If you or someone you know is under the age of 25, don't use cannabis. Delay use as long as possible, decrease use, and don't use and drive.
My name is Rebecca. I started using opiates at the age of 14. This drug addiction has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me, like everything. And I'm so exhausted. I know that these next few days aren't gonna be pretty, and I'm the most camera-shy person in the world, but if making my detox public is gonna help somebody, even literally just one person, I'm all for it. I was an athlete. I danced and cheered, and I was tumbling at cheerleading practice, and I blew my ankle out, and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
Rebecca's story is like so many others. You see it begin right at childhood.
Her addiction really started very innocently. She was a very accomplished dancer as an adolescent and had an ankle injury at the age of 14. Her medical treatment escalated to the use of very, very powerful opioid medications very early on.
This disease does not discriminate. at all. It looks exactly the same, and it will take you to the exact same places. It doesn't matter what town you live in.
They say that you make a conscious decision to get high, to do drugs. I didn't know, like, I trusted my doctor to take care of me and make me better. There was no caution, no red flag at all. It was take these, you'll feel better, and that was it. And then 2 months later, I had a habit already, like just from the pain pills. So that's when the heroin started. I can't. I don't believe it.
Today is the second day of Rebecca's detox. She has not used any substances for over 24 hours now. She is experiencing exactly what one would expect under these circumstances. She's very tired. Her body is starting to ache.
It's like you're hot, but you're cold at the same time, and you're sweating. You can't get comfortable, and every move you make, it's like you're running a marathon. Like, it takes all your energy. It's just draining.
I remember the day that Rebecca is having right now. I was feeling achy and tired, where you feel like you're pushing against 1,000 pounds of like water.
I've never felt this way before in my life. I hope I never have to feel this way again either.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you? Really?
I've been sleeping a lot. This thing, I want to say first, on my arm,
Okay.
is like absolutely killing me.
Right here?
Yeah, that's the spot. My hands are more swollen today than they were yesterday, and we're trying to figure out the cause of it.
Yesterday, you asked her when she looked at herself in the mirror, what do you see? And she said nothing. That's what she sees right now, because she is spiritually void. And that's okay, that's where you're supposed to be. So now what you do is every day you ask whatever's out there to help you fill that void.
I have a lot of self-image issues, and my mind doesn't tell me anything nice.
People often find that when they've been dependent on opiates for a long time, whether it's for pain management or for other reasons, and they can get off, it's incredibly liberating.
I feel like I'm coming back from the dead completely, because there was no life in me whatsoever, and each day that passes, I feel more and more alive.
I get really emotional. I was that girl sitting down there, you know, but I had a little daughter. I was, 17 years in and out of these rooms of treatment centers, from the time I was 17 to 30 years old. And today I have a life that is, I'm free.
I told her all you have to do is worry about the 24 hours you're in. You wake up in the morning, you take care of the 24 hours you're in.
I want the next girl that gets injured dancing to know what the future could hold by the next decision that she makes. Because that decision I made to go to the doctors and to not get the surgery, that's the worst decision I ever made in my whole life. I'm not this person. I'm gonna be more than this. I want that white picket fence. To be honest, I want the most boring, repetitive life. I want to be square so bad. This is like a turning point, a new start, like a new chance, and I'm gonna run with it.
So yes, Craig, to answer your question, there really was a French Revolution, but no, Anne Hathaway had nothing to do with it. Lindsay, what you got there?
Nothing.
Come on, let me see it. Seriously? All right, guys, we're gonna have to stop here for a minute, even though it's clearly riveting to you. Amy, do you drink?
No.
Okay, let's say that I believe you. Why do you think the drinking age is 21?
I don't know, the government?
Well, that's specific. And let me guess, you think it should be 18?
Well, yeah.
Does everyone agree with that? Why?
War.
So you want to get drunk and go fight?
No, if I'm old enough to go to war, I should be old enough to drink.
Yeah, I can die for my country, but I can't have a beer.
What are you talking about, Erin? You're 15. She skipped a grade.
She's right, though. I've been hunting since I was 12.
You're such a dude.
Shut up, Craig.
Wow, you guys are clearly mature enough to drink.
And I could drive at 16. It all just seems really random. Once you're 18, you're an adult. There's no difference at that point.
Well, what about being a leader in our government? What age do you have to be in the House of Representatives? Anyone? Come on, guys, we just went over this. It's 25. How about president?
35?
Correct. So if there's no difference, then should an 18-year-old be able to be president?
Well, that's different.
I don't think it is. Can anyone tell me what age your brain stops developing?
16?
Maybe for me, but for most people, it stops in your mid-20s. Alcohol can seriously mess that up. You don't want to be stupid, do you?
Maybe.
Well, if you're that stupid, you probably shouldn't make your own decisions. Okay, what else? Why else do you guys think you should be able to drink?
My 16-year-old cousin lives in Europe and she can drink. She says they don't have problems with drinking the way we do here.
Would it surprise you if I told you that they had more alcohol problems in Europe?
Yeah, I just think when you tell a teenager not to do something, they just want to do it more.
You might think that, but they actually have a huge teen binge drinking problem. And it's a lot bigger than we have over here.
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Frail, but you don't really think you can stop high schoolers from drinking, do you? I mean, everyone drinks. It's just kind of expected.
Actually, Lindsay, 3 out of 4 teenagers don't drink.
Did you drink in high school?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Didn't you get bored?
You know what? If you can't keep yourself from being bored in high school without drinking, then you're probably just pretty boring. Hey, Lindsay, you want this back?
No, I think I'm good. Not like you give it back to me anyway.
Oh, I'll give it back to you. There you go, Lindsay.
Thanks, Mr. Frail.
Some still sleeping. I'm awake. Wise to the fact, ain't nothing changed. If you smoke cigarettes, you could become addicted. Addiction to cigarettes will just get in your way. So if addiction ain't in the plan for you, then don't sleep on the facts. Keep it fresh. Live tobacco free.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's not a community where you see people smoking on the street. I think the bottom line in Hood River is, a healthy environment and an active environment, and so it really kind of just went right in line with who we are as a community, I think, personally. Anytime you're working with a campaign that any actions you take are modeling some sort of, positive behavior for our kids and our community in general. So adults too, it's really, at the Hots Fest in particularly, making our patrons that don't have families or children aware that there are families and children there. And I hope that they see the community for what it is, which is a really thriving, healthy community. We're huge on our outdoor sports, and we're still a really small community, so we're really involved with each other, and the different organizations are really intertwined. And as someone that grew up in this community, to be able to be a part of that now is awesome, and I really believe in it. So I would really hope that visitors from outside our community view us as that, you know, just open-armed, but, you know, serious about who we are and what we want to present.
For those of us who have young children but aren't able to attend your 2-day workshop, what are some of the things that are specific to couples with young children, both in terms of the problems that they experience and also in terms of the strategies that they can use?
Sure. One of the things that is very important is that when you become a parent, you've made a huge philosophical leap. I'm sure you experienced this when you became a father, that you become infinitely vulnerable, right? I mean, no question that you stop a Mack truck to save your kid's life. Automatically, you know that if something bad happened to your kid, it'd be disastrous. And you've immediately joined the family of man, family of mankind, humanity, and you become so vulnerable, and you're able to love at a level, you know, that is beyond what you imagine. So it's a huge change, and loving this creature together with your wife, with your partner, is, you know, a very powerful bond. And part of what we teach in this workshop is how to listen to babies, how to understand that babies operate on a completely different time scale from us, much slower. And if you can slow down and be with your baby and enjoy, you know, the fact that there is no toy on the planet that is as interesting to your baby as your face. And there's no music as interesting as your voice to that baby. And it's a hell of a lot of fun to be with that child and spend time with that child. And I'll tell you one really quick story, which is, okay, and then you get to talk. We were talking to the Talala reservation one time, and we were talking about the importance of listening to children. And they were saying, well, you know, people have been telling us, speakers have been telling us to tell stories to children, stories about our culture and our people, and you're telling us to listen. And I asked people, you know, how many of you remember what it was like to be a kid? And, you know, some hands went up, and I said, of those of you who remember what it was like to be a child, how many of you had an adult who treated you with respect and kindness and listened to you? And only a few hands stayed up. And I said, would you be willing to share your stories? And all those people talked and wept as they talked about the fact that my grandmother, when I walked into a room, she would brighten and sit down and drop what she was doing and listen to me and celebrated me and found me interesting and respected me. So I think that's really what I would recommend is the key thing, is to learn how to listen to your child.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Are you sleep deprived or is your partner?
Yes, and yes.
Okay then, let me just mention to you that sleep deprivation is a biggie for young parents. And after 30 days, typically, of interrupted night sleep, almost everyone will show many, many signs of clinical depression. What that means is that young parents tend to be more irritable with one another, a little bit more withdrawn, more exhausted, conflict goes up. Aren't you glad you had children? And, wonderful moments too, but the work has tripled and you're exhausted all the time. So part of what we really recommend is not only listening to your kids, but listening to each other. So if you can have what we call a little ritual of connection, which means a time of connecting with your partner that you can really count on, that's predictable. If you can have a stress-reducing conversation in the evenings, even when you're exhausted, of how was your day, dear? Tell me about your day. And each of you can whine and complain to each other. That is really useful, where people are just empathizing with one another, to stay connected. Because when you're so busy, parents find they don't have much time to just talk to each other, hang out with each other. So it's really important to build in rituals of connection to do that, that are talking about things other than, did you call the plumber? So that's one. Another is, if at all possible, have a date night. Have a date night where you go out, once a week. Even when the kids are little, you can do that. And third, if you can possibly, depends on how old your kids are, once in a while have an overnight. It's all you'll do is talk about your kids. You know that. But you won't be interrupted while you're doing that, which is a good thing.
Today, the FDA proposed a rule that anyone buying sweet-flavored nicotine for an e-cigarette submit to more stringent age verification. The announcement was a long time coming, and vaping giant Juul Labs tried to get ahead of it on Tuesday by announcing that it would temporarily stop selling flavored pods for its devices at retail stores, and that it would require online buyers to provide proof of age. But no amount of clamping down by the industry or the FDA will stop this.
I have my kind of like my own style. I do like old school tricks, like what they started off with. So I'm doing like slaps and then bends. That's what I'm working on.
This is Dash Drips. He's a 17-year-old vape influencer who has more than 7,000 followers on Instagram, where he posts videos like this daily. He's even sponsored by small vape manufacturers, even though he's not old enough to vape legally.
Who are some of your sponsors?
Apple Drippers, Cloud Nerds, Plus Pods.
It seems like there's a whole ecosystem of like vape companies on Instagram.
It's everything. Like, it's kind of like you promote their product and you get a discount.
We reached out to some of Dash's sponsors for comment, and only Cloud Nerds replied. It said that they were unaware Dash was 17 and that they don't support underage nicotine consumption.
So how did you like get your fans?
Hashtags. And then clickbait. Then as soon as I post, they'll comment and then it'll just like help the video grow.
Right.
And then I'll get more people.
Are some of the people that comment on your videos underage?
Yeah, most of them.
Did you smoke cigarettes before you vaped?
No.
No.
I just found tasted good.
Yeah.
So I just got into tricking after that somehow.
What was the first flavor you tried?
I think it was watermelon or strawberry. It was really good.
Since Dash is too young to buy his own vapes, his mom buys them for him.
When did you first find out about Dash vaping?
I think he was like 15.
What was your first thought?
I was kind of shocked. Then he came out and told me that he had started doing it when he was 12 and he was hiding it from me.
How did you feel once he started tricking?
I was okay with it.
Why is that?
I don't think it's bad. I really don't,
Do you think you could start making money off of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of working towards now. Talking about, with different sponsors, so.
Juul has transformed the e-cigarette landscape in just a couple years. It's now worth $15 billion and controls 70% of the market. In other words, it has a lot to lose. So ahead of the FDA's ruling, Juul moved to appease regulators, not just with the pods on flavors, but also by deleting its Facebook and Instagram accounts, so it wouldn't be seen as marketing to kids. The problem is, there are already thousands of young vape evangelists on YouTube and Instagram doing the company's work for them.
Here's what we got. We got a Juul starter kit right here, which apparently now comes with mango.
Donnie Smokes has been posting vape videos since he was 19.
Pretty much, I smoke and vape for a living.
How do you do that?
I have a social media presence where I post up on Instagram or YouTube or Snapchat, and I contact different companies and we work out deals. It's better to promote on YouTube for them or on social media because that's where their buyers are.
How much money are you making?
I could make anywhere from a couple $1,000 to more than a couple $1,000 a month. Yeah, the watermelon looks like that. By the way, I want to say thank you to the Vape God Shop for hooking it up. With the growth that I was having on my original channel before it was taken down, I mean, it was insane. I mean, these videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views.
Why'd you get taken down the first time?
There were a couple specific videos that were like Juul Challenge. I believe it was the challenge part of it where they thought I was telling people to go out and try to do this, whatever.
What is the Juul Challenge?
The Juul Challenge was to see how many times I could hit the Juul in a row. Yeah, it's like...
Without passing out, or?
Hold it all in.
Without exhaling.
Without exhaling, yeah, okay.
After YouTube removed his account, Donnie re-emerged on the site, and his following came right back. Juul doesn't sponsor any of these influencers. They get their money from companies that make third-party Juul pods, other vape juices, or bigger vape rigs.
Who is watching your videos?
The largest portion of my demographic is people 18 to 25.
Do you think people under 18 watch your videos?
I think that it's possible that people under 18 watch my videos. You know, it's on the internet, and people can find whatever they want to, so.
Do you think they might come after vape influencers like you?
I mean, I'm just someone who's enjoying the products and testing them out, so I
Well, you're being paid to promote them.
That is correct. Is it gonna fall back on me? No, it's probably gonna fall back on these companies who are the billions and billions of dollars of revenue that the government cares about.
Juuls have been incredibly easy to get and incredibly easy to hide. And that's what made them a hit among high schoolers. Kids can hit the Juul in class without their teacher noticing, and school administrators have been begging for a solution. David Fleischman is the superintendent of Newton County Public Schools in Massachusetts.
We are now at the elementary level adding vaping and e-cigarettes to our anti-tobacco units.
In elementary school?
In elementary school. The other sad part about this is the statistics on teen smoking is going way, way down across all demographics. And I feel like this is halting all that progress. The fact that it spread so quickly, Julie, without the FDA involved, to me, was dropping the ball.
Now that the FDA has weighed in, though, the vape lobby is making a new argument about the restrictions in public health.
So I've told my dog, BB, that this treat is a cigarette. Let's see if he reacts. BB, it's a cigarette. BB, it's vapor. Good job. If only regulators could figure it out.
Jeff Steyer is a senior fellow at the Consumer Choice Center, a pro-vape think tank.
What will the impact be of me only being able to buy Juul pods from vape stores versus a gas station?
Well, imagine the typical consumer of an e-cigarette. There are a lot of adult smokers who like those sweet flavors and easy-to-use products. Those smokers have been going to convenience stores for 40, 50 years to buy their cigarettes. By removing e-cigarettes from convenience stores, these people were only giving them one more excuse not to quit smoking, and that is terrible for public health.
According to data provided to Vice News by the CDC, there are more than 2 million e-cig users under 18 as of 2017, and almost 7 million adult e-cig users. Since 2011, the use of e-cigs by minors has exploded.
So your argument seems to be that in a rush to stop kids from vaping, it actually blocked a lot of adult smokers who need these products in order to quit smoking.
The whole point of e-cigarettes is for adult smokers. That's why they were created. E-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than cigarettes. That's because there's no combustion. The FDA has lost sight of the real problem, smoking, and is now attacking a product which is actually helping adult smokers quit. It makes no sense. We should focus on adult smoking and youth smoking, and we should prevent youth vaping to the extent possible, and we will have done our public health job. This is unlike any other public health issue, other than condom use, clean needle exchange, and any other area where we do harm reduction. It is exactly like those issues because it is a product that is not entirely safe, but it can save lives in a way that other attempts to deal with those issues have never been able to do.
Do you think a kid vaping just on its own in isolation is a bad thing for them?
It may be that a kid vapes, becomes addicted to nicotine, and that kid decides that he wants to smoke. That could happen. I do not believe it is an epidemic. I believe it is teenagers being teenagers, experimenting with risky products. That's going to happen regardless of the regulation.
Juul has always maintained that its product is a smoking cessation tool for adults and doesn't want the public to see it as a fast-growing youth brand. But Donnie and Dash have no plans to stop posting.
Ew.
So you feel like vaping and social media kind of goes hand in hand?
Yeah, that's where the younger people of this generation are.
In late 2016, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced that public housing developments in the U.S. would be required to provide a smoke-free environment for their residents. The effective date for their final rule was February 3, 2017, and it required thousands of public housing agencies to implement smoke-free policies by July 31, 2018. According to the final rule summary, posted in the Federal Register, each public housing agency must implement a smoke-free policy banning the use of prohibited tobacco products in all public housing living units, indoor common areas in public housing, and in public housing agency administrative office buildings. The smoke-free policy must also extend to all outdoor areas up to 25 feet from the public housing and administrative office buildings. This rule improves indoor air quality in the housing, benefits the health of public housing residents, visitors, and public housing agency staff, reduces the risk of catastrophic fires, and lowers overall maintenance costs. Regarding the need for this smoke-free rule, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention had stated the following. In buildings that have multiple housing units, secondhand smoke can move from unit to unit through hallways, stairwells, heating and air conditioning systems, and other ways. More than 1 in 3 non-smokers who live in rental housing are exposed to secondhand smoke, and many who live in public housing are especially vulnerable to the effects of secondhand smoke, including children, the elderly, and people with disabilities. Minimizing exposure to secondhand smoke is important, as the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency classified it as a Class A known carcinogen back in 1992. In 2006, the U.S. Surgeon General concluded that there is no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand smoke. According to the CDC, nationwide, secondhand smoke exposure contributes to approximately 41,000 deaths among non-smoking adults and 400 deaths in infants each year. Secondhand smoke causes stroke, lung cancer, and coronary heart disease in adults. Children who are exposed to secondhand smoke are at increased risk for sudden infant death syndrome, acute respiratory infections, middle ear disease, more severe asthma, respiratory symptoms, and slowed lung growth. These are just a few things to know about HUD's smoke-free public housing final rule. To learn more about tobacco smoke and other indoor air quality, environmental health, or safety issues, please visit the website shown on the screen.
IAQ TV, the place to be.
Did you know that one Juul pod contains 20 cigarettes of nicotine?
That is completely absurd. Now we know what you're thinking. You think this is weird and creepy. But you're the one watching puppet ASMR, you freak.